Hello, everyone. Welcome to Be Around Table, the home top for sports and sporting activities, just not just in Nigeria but across the world. Yes, so I know lots of you must have watched the fight. Lots of people have called it the WWE, fight between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, and ended in a knockout. And it's a wonderful experience, actually. Now let's do some analysis, post-match analysis of that fight. Now, for lots of people, I think we must give it to Jake Paul. I know for the last 5 years, he has struggled to be an elite fighter. Unfortunately, all the persons he had the opportunity of fighting are either people who are not in the boxing ring or the boxing business. MMA fighters who know little or nothing about boxing, and he had the opportunity of engaging them in the sports of boxing, and in the course of that had the opportunity of winning over them. And only person with a bit of a boxing experience he had the opportunity of fighting is Mike Tyson, right? Who, of course, he is in his 60s, and we all know that fight was all scripted. Of course, he won that fight. Mike Tyson definitely needed money at a time like that in his life. So all of those were scripted. This is the only time Jake Paul has the opportunity of really engaging in real boxing fight. This is the only time. And little wonder he couldn't survive. Now let's even get to the beginning. From the get-go, we saw a Jake Paul who was running around. He had his bicycle on. He was all around, running around the whole place. And I love to believe that all the things he had been taught by his team prior to the match itself went out the window. He forgot every single one of them, all the tactics, all the techniques that he was taught, all the pre-match videos and match videos of Anthony Joshua. He had the opportunity of watching. Everything went out the window because at the time he was fighting Anthony Joshua, it was a whole kettle of fish, and Jake Paul couldn't stand the heat. Couldn't just stand the heat from the get-go. He was just running around the place, and it takes oxygen, for that sort of sporting activity. It takes lots of preservation of energy. So you can't preserve enough energy when you are running around the whole place like Jake Paul, as if he is on a bicycle running around the whole place. And at the end of the first round, we would see a Jake Paul who was already tired, who had already given up. And he stated it himself that he didn't, he got battered because he was tired. He got tired because of that running around. Of course, he had his jaw, broken. You can't fight an elite fighter like Anthony Joshua, who had won the Olympics, who had the opportunity of fighting lots of big guys, who has had the opportunity of being the belt holder, the unified belt holder several times, twice in a row. So, but of course, we must give it to Jake Paul for at least taking that strides and giving the best of himself. He has 5 years in the business of boxing. I would love to believe if I was in his team, I would advise him to, continue in that tempo. Let him get into real-time boxing, not the Netflix or the YouTube boxing. Let him get himself into the real-time boxing, where he would have to climb the ladder, right? Start fighting from his division, and hopefully, since he wants to get into professional heavyweight boxing, then he should get himself to that ladder. I think it's a wonderful experience. Lots of people had their prayers answered because Jake Paul, at some point, was getting ahead of himself, thinking that nobody can beat him, and he was full of himself. Of course, we all know the very old adage that when you're proud, it has a way of nosediving at the end of the day. So, but we give it all to him. We hope that the future will be better for him. $40 million to Anthony Joshua. It's a wonderful experience, actually. I would love to believe that Ngannou would regret not taking that fight. Of course, Ngannou was even scared. He thought that Jake Paul would beat him, and that was why he didn't, take that fight. But I would love to believe he would have regretted right now because both of them, both Jake Paul and Ngannou, were to have been the best future for that fight, because both of them had no boxing experience that much. So it would have been a wonderful experience. But I love to believe Ngannou was scared that something accident might happen and he would, of course, lose the fight, and that would further depreciate his legacy. I guess that was why he didn't take that fight. And Tank equally didn't take that fight. I love to believe maybe he was equally scared that Jake Paul would beat him because he was small in stature. But of course, that's all we have for the Beer Roundtable. Remember, you can always follow us and subscribe to our YouTube page, on all our social media platforms at Beer Roundtable. So this is my take on the post-match analysis of Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. Have yourself a splendid day. Bye-bye from us.